the cat. XGod with the only tagline. And we do see Greed cash out from Ofma.
Alright, Kyle cash out from Ofma this time rather than Adams. That's an interesting one. I wonder what XGod's going to do.
He was cash out all of yesterday.
Okay.
We do see Pulverizer, Vampire, and Venture. Venture obviously leading a lot of people to want some high magic damage so that they can perhaps force Venture on 11.
Yeah, for sure. And talking of magic damage, there is Ashton, who has the Priestess. Both Ashton and XGod actually with the Priestess, so one of the best Wave 11 holding units. Ashton also has the Bunk, which is probably the second best, so he has a pretty nice role for that. Adams has Bunk and Infiltrator as well, so he's got good options there for the Venture. Ofma, probably not so much, honestly.
Yeah, he's got the Fire Lord, but that's hard to set up well.
Yeah, it's hard to make it work on 11, definitely, because Fire Lord is one of those where you need it to split tank, and it's just so hard to do that on range waves, right?
Exactly. And we do see Bounty Hunter from Adams. Maybe also playing towards that Venture, just being overvalued with the Kingpin.
This is actually Adams' signature unit. Like, back in the day, kind of pre-launch, Adams was known for being the best angler player in the game. So pretty solid for him to get his signature unit there. That's interesting.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, we have Ashton on the 5-worker Gate Guard. That's a pretty solid opener. He even has the Steed to go with it as well. XGod on the Crusher, so nice slow waves, favouring XGod and Ashton, who have more workers than their opponents.
And we see the Azora from Ofma. Ends up being a pretty clean 5-worker opener with the cash out. Otherwise, you can be stuck at 4 workers for a bit longer than everybody else. But
yeah, that's really interesting, actually. Like, he would not be able to have that 5th worker if he was playing any other Mastermind option. So making pretty good use there of the cash out.
And just looking at the roles a little more, the Doms obviously having the late game of the Gate plus perhaps the Vampire. And also
with the White Mane as well. That's so scary.
Yeah, XGod actually lacking a tier 6 in his role so far. I think in his initial role he only had the Egg, and he opted not to take it.
Yeah,
Egg's definitely a little weaker this patch.
Yeah, 100% I agree that the Egg has taken a bit of a nerf this patch, because the whole point with Eggs was to spam them and stay like overvalue. And if you do that when your opponent has 30 workers in the new boosted worker scenario, you're just going to get absolutely rolled.
Yeah. And Adams actually kind of gets away with one here. Doesn't add the tier 1, so he's not punished by the snail.
The XGod would have leaked him pretty decently there with the snail on too. And the long wave would have been in their favour as well. But obviously,
XGod pushing 5 workers, or 6 workers. Excuse me.
That's 6 workers on XGod, that's pretty nice. He gets the veteran here. He's only receiving snails from Ofma as well, so I think he should do pretty fine. What is Adams going to add? He has 125 gold, he can just go for a veteran, but no, he goes for the Infiltrator. It's kind of a shame then, actually, that XGod didn't send a Dragon Turtle, because DT Snail can really just cancel out everything that the Infiltrator does.
Definitely. And he will boost as well.
So he should be able to hold the triple snail with the boost there. XGod with 40 send, I think he's going just fine there with the veteran and with the Bone Crusher. Ashton receiving a 40 send, I think he should do okay as well. Wave 1.
Yeah.
Ofma, he's fine as well. So everybody, I think, just doing pretty fine here. Not expecting to see any leaks.
Interesting to note that Ofma opted for the mask here. That makes him quite a bit weaker on wave 5.
Yeah, he really needs an answer up there for 5. Otherwise, he's leaking the whole wave to like any send. But Hermit in particular is going to absolutely destroy him.
Yeah. And interestingly here, actually, Ashton stayed on 6 workers despite having a consort, which is one of the strongest units on wave 4 here.
Yeah, maybe he's playing a little bit safe, which is not the Ashton that I know.
Yeah, it's not what I expected.
But to be fair, while XGod has 7 workers, it's not the worst thing in the world for Ashton to play a little safe. And of course, GateGuard is very weak on 4, so I don't hate the play.
Yeah. And XGod actually, I was already sold that Bone Warrior that he had placed on wave 2 and opted to get a Sea Serpent here.
Well, in that case, I don't know. This serpent is super weak on 5.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think he gets enough gold for the coiler, no.
Yeah,
So
I
what's the
suspect we'll see
answer?
an infiltrator and some boosts.
Yeah, I think he probably has to. Because there's decent sized sands coming in here. We've got dinos from both Ofma and Adams. We've got double turtle from XGod, and just a lizard snail there from Ashton. So,
Yeah.
any leaks coming up on wave 5?
Probably not. We could see Ofma leak. I wouldn't have minded seeing a Hermit here, just because Hermit is so strong. There's both the False Maiden AoE damage as well as the Azora AoE damage, but
Ashton would have had to skip income for that, which
yeah, he
may
would
be
have
not
had to
worth.
skip income.
Yeah.
So, and we do see a boost. So already minus 26 gold.
Oh,
from...
boosted veteran, not an infiltrator.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't expect that one. I mean, it's a lot of damage, but that's 20 gold instead of 4. I think the 4 gold infiltrator might have just been better.
Yeah, and the infiltrator as well is also very powerful.
Look at
6.
this maiden! 3%, that's so big. I mean, it dies now, but it did so much more damage than it could have done otherwise.
Yeah. And Ofma will be leaking just a little bit.
Pro leak there from Ofma. If that mask with the 3% HP had died like a couple of seconds earlier, he would have leaked the whole wave.
And Adams is the only one holding and gets more stacks on both his bounty hunter and his angler from Ofma's leaks.
Look at this, the 5% HP dino, that's just devastating there for XGod.
That was brutal.
Really killed him.
Locked on just a little late there.
But now we do see a decent worker lead on XGod and Ashton. They both have 9 workers. Ofma and Adams staying on 8. Look at this intense battle between the angler and the lizard. Lizard winning that one. Very impressive. Right, resends from Adams. Ashton just getting the snail so that he can build probably another gate guard, I would say. No, he's going for Buzz. Ah.
Just a buzz. Obviously, when you see gate guard and double steed, you're thinking immediately for wave 8, but we do see that Ashton has a great answer in the form of the bunk.
Okay, he adds the steed. I was actually worried there that he was going to shift the gold for the bunk on 7, and then he would have just leaked super hard to these 3 snails.
Yeah.
Nice last minute call there from Ashton to add the steed. That should make him pretty safe here.
And the Downs is actually looking a little weak on wave 7 here. He's already invested 240 gold into infiltrators, which do almost 0 damage on wave 7.
And Bounty Hunter's just trash on 7 as well, right?
Yeah. Let's see some big sends here. Both XGod and Ashton have over 120 Mythium to send.
Kind of a shame that XGod didn't pro league here because he would have been able to get them in then.
Yeah.
Just goes for the
And we do
brutes
see
instead.
double brute, and I think that'll definitely be a leak one to Adams.
I don't think he gets brute number 3 though, which is a bit of a shame. But 2 brutes is still solid because Adams, like you say, weak here. Interesting to see whether he goes for a boosted veteran. I think he probably has to.
Yeah. Or he just accepts the leak.
Yeah.
Let's see. No, he boosts.
There's the boost. Oh, is he shifting gold? No, okay, he has the infiltrator there last second. Alright, so
Ofma should do
160.
just fine.
Yeah, Ofma is easy holding here with his Tantrum Hellraiser. Have a quick look at Dan's lane. He is getting sniped on the left-hand side. I think Dan is doing pretty well. Is this just a full hold? I think it is.
Wow. Boosted veteran. Most stat efficient unit in the game.
I mean, he is 840 value as well, right? So that kind of helps. Yeah, nice hold there from the Dams. Very important to keep that bounty hunter alive as well. There he is, look, 98 mana, because wave 7 obviously giving 20 stacks. It's probably the most important wave in the game for bounty hunters.
Yeah. And with the most recent angler change, it's almost viable to place an angler down just on wave 7.
Yeah. 40 stacks.
Yeah. Ashton, I don't know if you noticed, did not shift any gold for the banana bunk on that wave. Still leaked a bit. Was at 13 workers, but he is only catching a dragon turtle and a snail. So I'll be curious to see if he leaks this.
If he wants to get something like a Pegasus, okay, he goes for an APS. Not sure about that one.
It's 90 under.
Does Adam's full send? He gets another 40. He doesn't. Okay.
Uses not to.
Another DT might have been a decent peek there on Ashton, honestly.
Yeah. Especially since the DT heads right into the consort there. Which is the majority of his
resend against Ofma, and his red mask died very quickly. I think this is a leak there from Mr. Ofma. Uncharacteristic mistake there. He didn't protect his Hellraiser. And now he's leaking 75% versus a Dino. Oh no, that should have been his strongest
wave.
wave.
See. Yeah.
I think Ashton leaks as well, but this is like 3 creeps. Yeah, he's totally fine with that leak when he gets a 75% there on Ofma with only 1 Dino. Like, Ashton's very happy with that trade.
Yeah, definitely in favor of XCrash. Although we do see an Ogre coming out from Ofma.
Right, Ashton just going for more income sends. As we said at the start of the game, right, like he just wants to snowball this game. Ogre. Now what does he have to go with it? Don't think he reaches Brute. He's going to be a couple of Mythiums short of that.
Yeah, I think it'll just be a Dragon Turtle. XGod is 110 under, but he does have this lovely unit in the Samurai Soul.
Samurai Soul is very good against the wave, but it's pretty bad against an Ogre. So let's see whether the Send or the Samurai is the winner here. Yeah, XGod, he's good value, right? Like he's only minus 110 value.
I think he will be leaking rather large here.
Yeah, I think I agree with you actually. Oh no, he's now on the Ogre. Is he? He's going to leak this. He's going to leak the Ogre on super low HP. Oh, that is just absolutely devastating for XGod. Oh no! 85% leak there with the Ogre on 23% HP. That is so bad for him. Because he would have just been able to kill pretty much every wave creep if he didn't go on the Ogre there.
And this is all that gold. XGod is now sitting on almost 260 Mythium. I suspect we will see an 11 cents. Ashton actually opting to go for the Dino here. Really daring Ofma to both push his workers and take his venture. Depending on
it seems like this must be a bit of a game plan here from XGod and Ashton. So XGod is just starving Adams, giving Ashton the freest game of his life. I mean, look at that income there. Like, Ashton has 200 income, nearly double everybody else in the game.
Yeah. And I do want to point out, Adams has opted to get both his kingpins here.
Yeah, he has to. Right? He's being saved on pretty hard by XGod.
So he's still 94 over, despite being 302 saved onto him.
And with Polarizer and Vampire on the field as well, like, Adams has pretty solid options to be able to hold a wave 11 cent, especially with like boosted Orchids as well, right?
Yeah, and he's very happy even to take Vampire in this situation because it helps out his gates so much.
Ofma though, leaking the Dino send from Ashton, making a long wave there for XGod's save. Adams is not happy with his teammate here.
Leaks that wave with his current build.
Yeah, for sure. Like, he has only bad units on him.
And we see full income.
Wow, okay.
And income from XGod as well.
That is an interesting one. So both Adams and XGod had a ton of Mythium to spend here, and both of them opting to go just full income.
Oh, and look at this. Adams kind of hard reads the income sum from XGod and just decides to venture anyways.
Wow, that is balls of steel there, Mr. Adams.
Yeah.
What the hell?
My goodness.
How do you take venture in this situation when XGod has 400 Mythium to send your way?
Yeah. And he's boosting, and I mean, he knows that Ofma's taking venture too, so there's not great cover. Wow.
That is just an insane read there from Adams.
We do see the Poda and the Haven. Lets them both as well.
All 4 players on venture. Look at this, it is a 400 myth send.
Yeah. He's just fine.
He's just easily holding it there on the dams. I suppose if XGod had gone for a full send here, and the dams didn't go venture, then maybe he just would have been able to hold anyway. So maybe both players just kind of double bluffing each other there.
And income again from Ashton.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, the guy is just out of control right now. He has 21 workers, 22 now, 275 income, 23 workers. Sorry, it's still ticking up there as I speak. And he's got his venture coming in next wave as well. But to be fair, so does everybody. But I mean, just look at these counts, right? Like, Ofma, he's on 14 workers. XGod and Adams are pretty even. Ashton's just leading the pack there on 23.
Yeah, and Ofma does not have a clear answer to 15 so far. So we could see that. Adams, by the way, I want to mention, did reroll and hit a Disciple to pair with his Gate White main combo.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So Adams has a hell of a late game roll now, actually.
Yeah. XGod rerolled and found a Tempest to pair with a Mudman. Mudmen do not fly, but... And Ashton went for an after income Hermit. And we'll actually just barely leak Ofma.
Yeah, very small leak. I mean, this is a 320 cent there from Ashton, so...
Yeah.
I think he's completely fine to leak 2 creeps and a Hermit.
And what wave do you kind of expect to see next?
Probably
13 getting the Venture
14?
Gold here?
I would say
Maybe 14.
Yeah.
I suspect it'll be the team that skips 14 that ends up with a large advantage. I think both teams are going to feel pressured into it. But everybody's going to be around value right there. So if you can hold your metal and maybe just leak small, go for perhaps a 16 big push or something along those lines. I mean, the Mythium count's just going to be in the thousands by then if you can get to it.
Yeah, absolutely. And Ashton just re-rolled his Disciple here, by the way.
Oh, so he's pairing the Disciples with the Steeds. One of the highest DPS combos in the game.
Yeah, pretty nutty. Right. So is anyone going to send on 14 then, or are we going to see a skip from everybody? Maybe I could see 15 sends, especially with Ofma just playing this Avenger here on 13. Makes the 15 a lot more appealing. Yeah, everybody skips.
Yeah.
Alright, XGod just prepping his veterans here, just getting his tanks online. What is Ashton going for? Just spamming Pegasus now.
Ashton kind of also reads that they're not going here. Oh no, he ends up getting the Ranger.
Harbingers are honestly not that bad on 15 because the dogs just tank so much damage. Every time they pop out, the big octopus and all of the little ones focus it immediately. Just wastes like 1,000 damage or so.
Yeah. But, I mean, XGod is kind of hard to send into on 15 as well because he's got the quota already.
Yeah, that'll be in his area next wave. Obviously, he's got Orchid potential, so does Ashton.
But the sends are massive here. I mean, almost 700 sends.
From everybody though, right?
Yeah.
So there's a Kraken from Ofma, there's double Shaman from XGod and Ashton, Shaman from Adams, and then just spam. Oh, but Adams gets the 4 eyes as well. That 4 eyes should get onto his area. Maybe able to overpower its healing. Ashton, by the way, he's boosted this Orchid every wave so far since 13. So that's 60 gold worth of boost he spent. But obviously it's going to come in pretty important here now on 15, so...
Let's see what Adams adds here with his 250 gold. Probably Pee-wee spam, Edison. Yeah.
He spam from Adams. He actually ends up shifting 50. His APM must be around the same level as mine there, running out of time.
Yeah. And Ofma did finish off his Sovereign, by the way. Yeah. Mass Throw is interesting to send to on 15 because they tend to kill everything but the big boss.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're seeing here, right?
Yeah.
I think he's going to get the Shaman through as well, though. Yeah, he is.
Yeah, he does.
Leaks. Adams does kill his boss. Leaks only the 4 eyes and the Shaman and a couple of octopuses.
Everybody leaks. Ashton leaks his boss.
Oh, his boss on 400 HP. That one hurts. Not much king damage, honestly.
No, from either side.
Left eye looks like taking more damage here, just because the Shaman and the 4 eyes is actually bumping on the king. They're down to 35% now. And look at those win percent, Jan. So Jules is pretty heavily in favour of XGod and Ashton at this point. 62% favoured.
Yeah, I actually prefer Ofma and Adam's position right here, just because they can push super hard for 17, kind of targeting these Tempests as well as the Coda and the Azaria. XGod has shown some pretty good fortified defense, but Ashton really needs to start prepping these banana buns for 17.
And he
so
does. He
try
does.
to cover.
Yeah, he calls it. He knows what's up.
Yeah. But we will see, because I think 17 is certainly the next send, given that XCrash has pushed to 40 workers.
Yeah, wow, okay. So XGod pretty committed to a send here then.
Yeah.
Dams is so strong on 17.
Yeah, Dems is strong, and not only is he strong, he's definitely holding the longest because he has the best tank line, Yazoras, which can dodge everything and take their time, and he also has the longest stalling mechanism in the gates, which just constantly spawns units for the first few moments of the wave. And XGod's actually going to leak this as well.
He is leaking the no-send. He's keeping on pushing, by the way, so this is a suicide play now from XGod. They decided that they need to win the game here on 17.
And with the worker change, he's at 63.6 Mythium.
That's pretty nutty.
10 seconds, now 67.
And he's going to keep on pushing. Oh, is he actually going to build here? He does. Okay, he goes for the double golem, hardens those, of course. He unhardens XGod. Yeah, okay, keep them hardened.
Yeah. And we see 4 eyes from both Ofma and Adams.
Yeah. Double 4 eyes from both of them, actually. So Ashton, he does have 2 havens and a small bunk. So he's got pretty solid tank line there. And he is the closest to value in the game. Like, he's minus 420, blaze it. But everybody else, like XGod is minus 1600, Ofma and Adams, they're both minus 8 and 900.
Yeah. And Adams, I don't know if you caught this, but he hid deep coilers his entire roll, and so now they're going to pop out.
Sniping the witch here, the Damned, what a god! That is
really well done.
Lithium just deleted there from XGod Send. That is so clutch there from the Damned. XGod obviously leaks full, but Ashton, he's holding. And Ofma's leaking 100% as well, and there's a Damned. So this is game number 1 in favour of XGod and Ashton. What a clutch game!
Very well done. XGod kind of recognizing that he's dead on 17, pushing full, catch out Ofma and Adams.
Yeah, very nice read there. Very nice read from XGod and Ashton. Nicely played. If we take a quick look at the graph, it was very close actually for the first like 13 waves or so, and then all of a sudden Ashton just went ham on those workers and just pulls ahead in the lead. And then of course we saw XGod just full push there, the suicide play for a 17 send, and it was enough because Adams, like, he's 4.6k value, he has a lot of very strong units on 17, and I think if XGod didn't do that full push play, Adams might have just been able to hold here.
Yeah, I wouldn't have minded perhaps Ofma and Adams maybe reading the situation and noting that there's been 0 swift armor shown so far, and perhaps trying to force this 16 send, even though Ashton is on value. I mean, XGod is suiciding as we saw, but that's always hindsight. You know, if they try to make that play and they miss, then they could get 18 or even 19 and really end up in a terrible situation. So,
and in fairness, like, Ashton was pretty weak there on 16, to be honest. Like, he has good value, but all of his units are terrible there. Like, he has the Havens, he has the Harbingers and the Steeds. It's pretty much dead value on 16.
Other than that, I think it was a really well played game. Really unfortunate for Ofma there, just that small mistake costing him his Hellraiser, tanking a bit too much on wave 8.
Oh yeah, the wave 8 was painful actually. Just a dino send there, leaking him 75%. It was, yeah, that was not ideal, because that should have been his strongest wave as well with the Tantrum Hellraisers.
And it also means that he can only push to 12 after receiving 80, and then gets 160, and still can't push despite having set 240 himself, so suddenly he has income. Really allows Ashton to kind of snowball out of control here, sending again on 12.
Yeah. And we said it at the start of the game, like, Ashton, when he gets that snowball rolling, he's just a very, very dangerous player to be on the other side of. And yeah, he certainly showed that here today. So XGod and Ashton, XCrash, they are 1-0 in the lead here, and pretty impressive stuff. But we did call a 2-1 at the start of the match, so Obviously, that means it's time for Ofma and Adams to win a match, right? That's how it works?
I believe it is their turn.
Yeah. Legion TD2 scripted tournaments confirmed.
So we will see. Very curious. I'm wondering if perhaps we'll see not greed from Adams here.
Yeah, I would like to see Adams kind of mixing it up a little bit, actually. Maybe he goes for the cash out that he played in the league. Maybe he goes for... I mean, he played some YOLO as well, but I don't know that he's going to disrespect XGod and Ashton like that.
Well, those are very... well, it's a YOLO. It's maybe the
both
easiest
Ashton
way
and
to
Adams are pretty solid. I mean, pretty solid YOLO players all round, right? But
yeah,
pretty solid YOLO in particular. All right.
I think we're gonna start it up.
So the game is just about getting ready. All the players are ready. I think we're just finding a server. We are. And then without further ado, guys, let's get into game number 2.
Please do not the cat.
What does it even mean?
I don't know. I want to find out.
Cryptic message there from XGod. And I have to say, the Blob Boys with their beautifully themed profile pictures there.
Yeah. They've really, I think that it's the team synergy buff that'll carry them here.
Yeah. Well, they certainly get style points there. Right, we get greed from XGod, greed from Ashton, so 0 balls on this team, greed from Adams, and Ofma. Come on, what are you going to show us? Is it cash out again? It is.
It's cash out. And one thing I want to point out is that both XGod and Ashton Busher have the strongest unit in the game, Trinity Archer, which also has Sorcerer in the game, so I suspect both of them will be taking that.
Trinity Archer with Sorcerer is just obscene, by the way.
It's very powerful. I know last tournament when I was playing with Toykin, we had a plan of him locking in Trinity Archer if we ever saw Sorcerer in the leading spells.
Yeah, not a bad shout, to be honest. See that working for sure. Not too bad synergy with it either. Like XGod has the Oathbreaker, which is pretty solid to pair up with the Trinity Archer. Same with Ashton having the Gargoyle and the Mudman, which covers the weak waves there on 5.
Yeah.
And he also has the Berserker and the Yazora for 6 as well.
Yeah. And we do see Trinity Archers from both of them, as predicted.
And there is the Archer Oathbreaker start from Ashton. XGod, is he going to egg? I think he might egg. He's got the triple threat there. He has the Grawl, the Egg, and the Polywog, which can hold any 60 send on 3.
Ofma's on 5 Worker Crusher with the Aqua.
Well, does he go
Adams
6?
has the Steed. I suspect he will with that roll.
Yeah.
He should be fine on 4 as well with the Infiltrator.
Yeah. Like, if you're playing cash out and you get the Bone Crusher, you have to go 6 Worker, right? Like, it's just rude not to. And to be fair, if he doesn't go 6... Oh, he does. Perfect.
Yeah.
I was going to say, if he doesn't go 6, when he sees XGod's egg on wave 2, he'll be kicking himself. So I'm loving the fact that he went 6 Workers here. Like, he's kind of won the coin flip there for sure.
I think we might see 7 as soon as he sees the egg.
Juicy.
Ashton, by the way, did not receive on wave 1, so he's forced to say 4 workers here. So very low worker count from both Ashton and XGod to start off the game.
That does obviously give a bit of an advantage over to Ofma and Adams, who have a solid worker lead on their opponents.
And XGod shows the Polywog. Does he need that to hold a snail?
He does not need that to hold a snail, no. It even holds a double snail, as we saw yesterday when SSP double snailed FDQ's naked egg.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know why he was scared there, because Adams can never reach a Dragon Turtle on wave 2.
Maybe he's worried about Ashton leaking, because Ofma is sitting on nearly 80 here.
Wow, yeah. This wave is so long that Ofma's going to be able to send a Dino in income if he wants to.
And I think that's what it'll be.
There it is.
We see the Dino.
Dino on 3.
Adams.
He's actually going to get a snail to go with it as well, by the way.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
100 Mythium send on 3. No wonder Ashton stayed 4 workers. Now, of course, he has the Green Devil, which is very, very strong on 3. I don't know, 100 send is still 100 send.
I'm curious to see if this holds. XGod opting for his. Oh,
I think you
he's
need the
thinking about it.
Seraphim like here
Yeah.
to be able to hold.
Yeah, there he goes.
Going cat.
Oh, it's a cat.
I
Interesting.
don't think that holds, but I'm ready to be surprised.
XGod been putting the time in the lab, maybe?
Maybe. So Ashton, he is going to kill that dino fairly quickly with his Green Devil, and I think that's just a hold from him. Green Devil too strong on wave 3, confirmed. He's holding the 100 send, but XGod, he is not holding his egg here.
Absolutely not.
Down it goes there to the 60 send. I'm curious to know why he didn't go for the Seraphim play there, which is just like a guaranteed hold.
Yeah.
And that, yeah,
both players on 7 workers now. I would have loved to see Ofma go to 8, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, we did say that this was Ofma and Adams' turn to win, and to be fair, it looks like everything's going according to plan so far.
Yeah, Jules already given them a 7% edge here.
Well, Jules knows what's up, dude. I don't know if you noticed, but at the end of last game, while the lethal leak was walking down to the king, Jules actually said that they had a 60% advantage, so pretty clutch stuff there. Yeah.
How could they have been wrong?
XGod obviously holding against the Snail King up there, but that's just income for Adams. And everybody is just fine here against their tiny snail resends.
Although Ofma's Bone Crusher was not tanking too well there. I don't know how he placed his Infiltrator. Oh yeah. So the Bone Crusher being on row 1 means that it'll tank last, as opposed to the Infiltrator, which will tank first here on row 3. It will be good for wave 5, because the boss comes out earlier. But
and the Infiltrator obviously tanking the whole split as well, as soon as those 2 little bonies die. Ofma has his Fire Elemental, pretty solid here, and next, Overvalue, as you say.
He is overvalue. Again, I would have loved to see him push to 8 there on wave 4. Maybe just accept the leak, because you're saving already, and Ashton has not really shown any units that are particularly great on 5. Obviously, the Green Devil's fine, but he hadn't shown any fortified armor yet.
Yeah, but he's pretty weak on 6, right? The only thing that can save Ashton on 6 is if he can get the Harbinger upgraded there, because without that, he's just going to be in a world of pain.
And he just might be able to with 53 income here.
He's pretty fat already. This is Ashton.
Yeah.
Right,
might have to do some Swedish pawn shop.
A bit of Swedish pawn shop, can't go wrong, right? Yeah, XGod is holding, so the wave is not going to be any longer than it needs to be. But Ofma, he can go for either a mole or double brute here. There's the brutes, okay.
And
so
it will be double brute, yeah.
Very long wave though, so even though XGod doesn't leak, it does a very, very slow clear.
And Ashton doesn't even have to sell, because he gets the 40 off. Wow.
Ashton, 655. How does he do it? Like, he stayed fairly low workers for this game. Everyone else is kind of higher. Ofma's tied. And he still just gets that Harbinger out on 6.
He's just got his breakpoints.
Do his snails give 7 income, or what is this?
Yeah. And Adams obviously is at 9 workers, because he's had 0 pressure against him.
Yeah.
But
and he's getting more feed there from Ashton, so Adams probably goes up to 11 now.
And the Brute ends up going straight onto the Gargoyle, so it's not even on the Harbinger yet.
That Archer does survive, actually, on 18%
wow.
HP! Oh, that is filthy there from Ashton. What is this focus? Like, one more crit and that thing dies, and it's just so much less damage.
And Ofma, as I was mentioning here, his Bone Crusher is the last thing to tank here. A bit of a positioning mistake. If it's in the 3rd row, he's fine.
That is painful for Ofma and Adams. So we said that they had the kind of dream start there, popping XGod's egg on 3, having a big worker advantage. Well, now I actually think the game is back in favour for XGod and Ashton, because that was such a one trade for them there on 6. Like Ofma leaking 50% to a dino, while Ashton fully holds the 140 cent.
Yeah. And XGod here is a bit behind in the income, but he does have his egg. He's ahead in value. So curious to see how he'll transition this. He's looking a little weak on wave 9 right now. With the broken egg. And Ashton skipping a wave, putting pressure onto the gate guard steed player over here.
He must have lagged out or something. I don't think Ashton would have willingly skipped away there.
No, it was XGod threatened him, and that was it.
XGod's bribing him, I think. There's a bit of prize money on the line, so maybe he's offering a bigger stake if Ashton can skip a wave or two.
Yeah. We do see the mole coming out from XGod.
Oh god, no. But
so hopefully we'll see.
Ofma has the perfect answer. So obviously, normally Pierce and Arcane units, the Aquas, have no chance of being able to hold Wave 8, which, as you know, is magic and swift. So, but with this Orchid here, especially if he puts a couple of boosts into it, he will be able to hold, and he does. That's 20 gold. Easy hold now from Ofma.
It'll definitely be an easy goal. We do see the snails; those will be gobbled up first, but oh, it doesn't go on the mole.
Yeah, but it's just killing the entire wave first, right? And now it's on the mole. Like, this is just fine.
This is an easy hold.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Ashton obviously holds there with the Trinity Archer on 8, just easiest hold of his life. And XGod he's holding as well. He's now starting to show his own elite archer. Yeah. These guys are gearing up for that sorcerer.
And Ashton pushing hard here. My goodness.
You're going to keep pushing after income?
I think he will. He's going to 15.
Oh, nice.
And correctly reads that he's not getting sent here. He doesn't have a great tank. Oh, yes, he does. He has an Azor. What am I talking about?
He has his aura, and he has a lot of damage there with that Trinity Archer. So all he needs
Skipping
to do is
again, I want to note.
Yeah, that's bizarre, honestly. I mean, to be fair, Adams is pretty strong here on 9.
Yeah. But this is the scenario that I was spelling out last game as well, where it is Ashton sending into Adams as opposed to into Ofma.
I want to point out as well that Adams, he actually shifted 190 gold here on wave 9. So he's got some plans. I mean, he just re-rolled the elite archer of his own, so he can just do a full Trinity on 10 if that's what he wants to do.
Yeah. And there are 2 aggressive spells to pair with the sorcerer here.
And here comes the send. There's Mole from XGod, there's Income from Ashton.
XGod is overvalued right now, by the way.
He's undervalued now, but
now he's
undervalued. Adams is skipping. So Adams, he does get the full Trinity Archer here. That was a lovely little shift there from him. He's got the Mask line to just waste time from the boss as well. So that should be an easy hold from Adams, who was otherwise very weak on 10 without going for that Trinity Archer. I like the shift there.
Does have 2 really powerful Swift tanks here.
Yeah, that's pretty solid.
So now Ofma and Adams, assuming they do decently on this wave, which I think they will, have pretty much all the tempo and all the decision making on them. What would you do in their spot?
For Ofma and Adams, well, if we have a quick look at their rolls, XGod and Ashton are probably looking weaker on 11 than they are. Like, they're much better on 12 for sure. I don't think they want to go all the way to 13, so yeah, here comes the send now. But actually, Ofma's looking pretty decently there to the 160 send, even with his Avenger.
I didn't quite see how the aggro shaped out there, but not surprised. Both the Fire Elemental and the Rogue Wave are a bit weaker on wave 10. And 4 eyes from both of them.
So what is your answer then, XGod and Ashton? Obviously you're taking the Sorcerer.
It's a Butcher, by the way, onto the Trinity Archer with Sorcerer.
Life Steal Trinity Archer, OP, confirmed. You heard it here first.
And we do see press the attack from both Ofma and Adams.
Yeah. Ashton going for a gate here. He does play the Sorcerer, which is obviously a good call. And now he's just spamming some Fist. So hoping for the delay. But this is a big old send coming out from Ofma. Obviously XGod with the Sorcerer as well for his Trinity Archer. But look at their values. Well, Ofma and Adams, they both full pushed here. They're both on 1300. They've sent massively here, knowing that they're receiving Income and King only. That's a great call from them. And here's 420 matching sends against Ashton and XGod. That would be poetic justice if Ashton lost a game here to a 420 send.
He's on to the 4 eyes now, and I think this is just a full hold.
From Ofma. And a Dams as well, actually, look at that!
Yeah,
shot
but
down versus double DT.
Yeah, and Ashton just barely kills off the 4 eyes here,
Wow.
and is left with only 2 creeps. So I call that a win for XCrash.
100% a win for XCrash there. Like, that is so good. But Ashton is really weak here. He's minus 335 value. He gets a 420 send, a try-hard send, and he leaks 3 creeps.
It's the Trinity Archer lifestealing.
Yeah. Insane, dude.
XGod, I also want to note, places more on the white main aura eventually.
Yeah, so he's just going for the tank value rather than the charge value. I think that's fine.
Yeah. Or also famously worse with Trinity Archer.
True. Interesting to note that Jules is now pretty much convinced that XGod and Ashton are winning this game. 72% favoured there.
And I wouldn't disagree at this point. Ashton is looking...
After that insane hold there from Ashton on 11, I think I'm with Jules on this one.
Yeah, he's looking really hard to break on 13 with W Zora and a gate. He's looking hard to break on 14 with the Trinity Archers coming out. And he's going to be hard to break on 15 too with the Gargoyles. So I feel like the Blob boys have kind of backed themselves into a bit of a corner here.
Yeah, your options are really limited. I think they have an absolute mountain to climb if they want to get back into this game.
Yeah, and they will skip 13. Everybody's undervalued.
We do have a small worker lead on the side of XCrash. Going for the red eye. Okay, changes it. Ashton does have the gold for the gate, but he's actually going for a second Trinity Archer instead. So he's correctly calling a 14 send, or at least not a 13 send.
And XGod as well. Placing a second Archer, placing more cats.
Yeah, so they're both all in on holding 14-15.
Adam's placed his Millennium here.
So that Doomsday is going to be pretty solid. The thing is, look, his mask split is now kind of shooting himself in the foot because it's killing his Millennium very quickly there.
Yeah. It could end up being decent on 14 just because obviously the Millennium has Arcane Armor, so it's taking 25% less damage, but I'll be curious. And Siege Ramp from both. Very good send into the Archers.
It is, but the thing is, it's going to get kited on both lanes, I think. Yeah, so Ashton has a higher split. XGod obviously has a higher split here with his boar lineup. So the Archers are not going to attack those siege rams. They're just going to shred the wave.
Yeah. And Ofma had full shifted there, by the way, for the Haven.
I don't think it's going to save him, though, against a 400 plus send from XGod.
No. I think this might be game.
This is all going to come down to whether Adams can hold here. I mean, he's got good units, very good units, but his value is
and no Ghost Knight into Adams.
Yeah.
Just one creep onto his Doomsday, so the split doesn't kill him.
That's good tank value. But now it's just dying.
It will be leaking, yeah.
And Ofma's leaking hard. XGod does leak, but Ashton's just holding easily there with like half his value still alive. This is game.
That'll be game.
Wow. XGod and Ashton.
Ofma playing very well.
Yeah.
Ofma and Adam's not able to capitalize off their early game winning. Ofma, that unfortunate aggro with 6 leaking his Bone Crusher.
That was a pretty insane game. Like, if you have a look at the graph, right? Ofma and Adams, they're ahead the entire early game. From wave 1 all the way to wave 11, they're in the lead. And then with Ashton's insane hold against the 420 on 11, they just shoot up in the advantage there. Like an insane swing in the power score. But absolutely clutch hold there on wave 11 from Ashton, just winning the game that they were pretty far behind in. I mean, to be fair, it helps that Ofma and Adams full pushed and then both leaked hard versus like Income and King, right?
Yeah.
I think without that, maybe the game could still have been even with Ashton's clutch hold.
And it's like I said right on wave 10, right? You know, they had the decision to maybe not push and try to force the 13, having already seen Trinity Archer and Boar from XGod. They know that he's going to be pretty weak there. but they do have already seen the Azorian from Ashton. They opt to push hard and try to press the attack play as opposed to the Lizard army play. But Ashton just doing Ashton things, holding undervalue.
That was pretty nutty there. Like, he was very undervalued as well, -335. And his units are not traditionally good on wave 11, right? But just, like you say, that Sorcerer Trinity Archie just coming in absolutely clutch. With the lifesteal as well, just getting so much value for him there. That was really insane play there from Ashton. So yeah, with that, XCrash, they do go through into the grand finals. Can they make it 3 cups in a row?
I don't know. I'll see. I'm curious if they're facing off against Bashir and Lucy, or if the Beavers, Cox and Coffee.
Cox and Coffee. Speaking of which, they are still in the game there. So if you want to spectate Fakir, maybe we can hop into their match right now. We'll see how semi-final number 2 is going on.
See if that worked. Let's just /spectate.
Yeah. Alright, so we're on wave 8 as we get into this game. We have a bit of a send coming out from Drakria and Lucy, but Slickins and FDQ, they both have very high value. I think they're just completely fine here against this.
I'm gonna go ahead and restart my game. I can't get in, I'm sorry. Sure.
Alright, so Twitch chat, I've just heard from Burnt that this is a 1-1 matchup so far. So Drakria and Lucy have taken a game, and Slickins and FQ have taken a game. But if you look at that win percentage, Jaws is massively favouring Drakria and Lucy here. I wonder if that's just bugged because we just joined partway through the game. I think it should update after this wave ends. Ah, that's better. Okay, so much more close now, 56-44. And we do get a decent sized send coming out from Slickins and FTQ. There's double Brute there from Slickins. He's going to get another 40 to go with. FTQ, he's going to get 2 sets of Imps there. But do you know what? The Imps are really not that great against Drakir's lineup. He's already showing double Peewee and a Green Devil. So he's got solid tanks there.
I wonder if I'm just doing this wrong. It's just /spectate, then space and the name?
Yeah, hold on, I'll whisper you. Like that.
I'm gonna copy that exact message.
Still not working?
No. It doesn't show up in the chat either. It's just upset with me.
Very small leaking there against the double Imps, and Lucy the same actually against the double Brute and the DT. Let me just check something on our full KidK to see if I can. You do have spectate rights, don't you? You have spectated before.
Yeah, I've spectated with Shadow before.
Oh. Okay, so I don't need to check that then. Assume that you still have it, as I can. Unless maybe they closed the spectator slots and it's only letting 2 people in or something like this. I don't know.
It's perfectly fine if you want to screenshot it, maybe.
Sure, hold on. Right, so we have a bit of a worker advantage on the side with Drakria and Lucy. They're on 14 apiece. Alright, you should have my screen now. If it starts to lag the stream though, I'll probably have to close it.
Yeah, no worries.
Alright, everybody kind of chilling here on wave 10. We do get income sends coming out from Drakria and Lucy on 11. Will that be matched by Slickins and FTQ? Well, actually, Drakria going for a bit of a leak here versus no send on 10.
Wow. And there is press the attack and overwork, 2 very aggressive spells.
Yeah. An FTQ they haven't sent yet, so maybe they're going to skip. Okay, no, they go for a bit of income here.
Income all around.
Income all around. Pawn shop all around as well. There's a red eyes there for FTQ and a boost, so an easy hold for him. Slickin's pawn shopping his canopy to turn it into something useful for 11. Oh, actually selling his Fire Lord. Oh no, he just gets the full Phoenix. Nice.
Yeah.
And we also have a full Phoenix on Lucy, so easy holds for both of those players. I'm going to say Drakir might be the only player to leak, but I mean his value is pretty decent and he's only receiving income, so I think he's completely fine as well. Yeah. Probably just 4 holds here.
Hopefully. Interesting to note that both Lucy and Slickens were cartel, so they just got that minus income, but Lucy ends up being ahead in the income here. Yeah. A fair amount. And a good split onto her Phoenix there.
A really nice focus there actually on Lucy's lane. Kind of as expected, it looks like all the players are going to fold here. Yeah, Drakir the only player who looking like he might leak, but he's actually just completely fine. So 4 income sends, 4 holds, and the game continues pretty even.
Yeah, and when you see Phoenixes on both sides, as well as seeing Zeus's, they're never sending 13, so I think we'll see big 14s here.
Yeah, sure.
And who is in the best position to hold that, do you think?
I would say probably FTQ. Like the red eyes is solid on 14. He also has the option to go for like a Starcaller Circle, which is a ton of damage.
Yeah.
Lickens, he's not bad. Like he can have canopies to go with his Phoenix and Leviathan Circle. But actually, so can Lucy. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It's pretty close all around, honestly.
Just about even. I wouldn't be surprised to see people pawn chopping their Phoenixes off on mid 14.
Well, that hurts though.
Yeah.
That's still a 70 gold loss, right?
That's what you got to do occasionally in these situations, especially when these Mythium sends will probably be in the 700s with the worker change.
Yeah. And speaking of the worker change, Drakir and Lucy, they do have a bit of an edge here on wave 12, so their Mythium generation a fair bit higher than their opponents. And Jules kind of getting more and more certain that Drakir and Lucy are going to win this one as the game goes on. Actually, he's well aware that this end is not coming here on 13, so he upgrades the Vulcan Cannon here.
If FTQ ended up adding more boars or halos.
Yeah, exactly.
And it looks like he did go for both.
Well, so everybody's saving here as we expected.
Drakir and Lucy going ahead and sending. Pack leader Mimic.
Right. Interesting, huh? I'm not sure about that. I think you kind of need a double 4 eyes to be able to break them.
Yeah.
Obviously, they don't actually have that much Mythium, so.
It's a fair amount. It's a. What is it going to be? A 400, 500 cent on 14?
But you need the 480, right, for a double 4 eyes. But the double 4 eyes is just so strong against Phoenix builds. And you were right. So Slickens has pawn shopped his Phoenix, as you say. Lucy not doing the same. So is she going to live to regret that?
Let's see. Drakir is probably one of the strongest holders on this wave with his double big gun, perhaps. And certainly a lot of tank value.
Hardening there for Decay. So 440, 420, pretty similarly sized. And actually, FTQ receiving the bigger send here of 520 on 14. And that's going to be a big, big leak on him, I think. So can Slickens with his pawn shop here come in for a clutch hold, because that is going to be really important for Cox and Coffee? And the answer is no, he's leaking here.
Yeah, they're both going to leak about 70%.
Here and Lucy leak as well, but they leak slower. They do give a double shutdown, and I don't think Cox and Coffee are dead here. There may be a bit of an opening to come back into the game.
Yeah, we'll see. Definitely in favor of Drakir and Lucy, I would say, just because they have the king attack as opposed to the AoE up, so they're able to better handle any of the bigger sends, but I end up being completely wrong.
Yeah, pretty similar for both teams. So
Um,
kind of close now coming into it. We're about
Lucy
to see
pushed
wave
hard.
15. Oh, she did, yeah. And that is something that I love about the new patch, by the way. You never have to wonder, like on wave 14, wave 15, shall I push now or shall I wait until double workers? Like, as soon as you hold this end, you just push everything you have into workers, and you just keep that aggression going. There's no more like stop-start aggression with the gap between kind of wave 14 and 16.
Yeah, I'm definitely enjoying that aspect of the gameplay. Makes a lot more sense. I remember when I was going through the tutorial way back when, being very confused when the game coach was yelling at me to not push workers on 15.
Alright, we do get a resend here on 16 from Kia and Lucy. Do Slickens and FTQ anticipate this? Are they going to send themselves?
They should. I mean, FTQ is playing Boar Halo, and one of the only weak waves of Boar Halo past 15 is 16.
Yeah, of course. And Drakir.
And
I think he leaks here. It's very close. Very
it's
close.
going to be a hold.
That's a hold,
Yeah.
okay. And Slickens and FTQ, they don't read this. Oh,
And
no.
I think that's going to be game.
But Slickens
Oh,
sells all
huge
his
pawn shot,
penalties.
though.
But does he
What's
just get a
he gonna
second Phoenix? He does. Okay, nice. He's going for Phoenix 3? No, he's just spamming the Tempest. Okay. Couple of
And more
Devilfish.
Devilfish. I mean, they're reading the send, but I just don't know if they're going to
FTQ
be
on
strong
the
enough
death
here.
cap here. I'd love to see FTQ pawn shop a Red Eyes for like another 2 death caps. That would be so
Yeah.
clutch.
And we won't see it, damn.
Unlucky.
Could be close here. Could definitely be close. Big sends, though.
Though. Yeah, like he has the double Phoenix now, but he's still very low value against a very big send here on 16. This Phoenix, it is going down. Oh, it was so close. There was only 3 creeps left there.
Wow. Second Phoenix goes down. FTQ
is leaking as well. I think that's all she wrote. I think that's the end.
That would be game.
Unlucky. So a very close semi-final here, it looks like. And Drakir and Lucy, they do take this one 2-1.
Victory.
Oh, okay.
So, congratulations to Kia and Lucy. We do have our 2 finalists now. That is Overbuild and Underpush versus XCrash in the grand finals. I think we should probably give the teams maybe 5 to 10 minute break before we get into the next match.
Very exciting.
So really interesting games that we've seen so far today. I feel so bad actually for Slickens and FTQ not going for the center. They made really good calls with the pawn shot. Maybe if FTQ had pawn shopped as well, because like we look at his league, it's only 67%. And like you say, Red Eyes is very, very weak on 16. So maybe he just pawn shops one of those. That's another 700 gold or so. He can easily turn that into 2 more death caps. And with 3 death caps, like he's at least killing every creep. Maybe he
It's such a
4 eyes, but
a tricky situation there. I think perhaps they're forced into Income King just because, I mean, if you look at Jackier's build on 16, he's pretty much got everything you could ever want. Good tanks, insane AoE damage with Pyro's Flowers, and he's got guns.
Drakir's just never leaking on.
Yeah. So they're kind of forced into this play. If they do see this line, then they should just not push after 14, I guess.
Yeah,